Welcome all to our 2023-2024 annual FUTSOC parent meeting. As is customary for our club, every year we ask that you, the existing parents, as well as all new parents, attend this very important launch to our season, where our club philosophies, concepts, and successes are presented to provide you with the most complete understanding about our organization. My name is Jose Tamayo. I am the founder and executive managing director of FUTSOC and Enigma Cup. And prior to presenting the full presentation, I would like to provide you with a summary of my experience and involvement in youth soccer for nearly 50 years. Moving to our beautiful city of Weston in 1993, right after the massive devastation left behind by Hurricane Andrew in Miami-Dade County, my involvement in youth soccer was a logical choice as programs had to be established in Weston, a new, pristine city developing in West Broward County. Having initiated my coaching career at 16 years of age, it was a logical path to take in continuing to be involved with youth soccer development. Having played my entire life with great success at all levels, as a high school all-county, all-state, and all-American, at club and at college levels, and representing the U.S. at the U17 level, starting at the ripe age of 5 years old, I felt that my love and passion for the game had to be imparted to all youths interested in this beautiful game. It was my time to give back to this wonderful community for the soccer players of tomorrow. From the outset, I was involved in the founding and greatly successful management of virtually all youth and adult soccer programs in our city. Weston Fury, now known as Weston FC, the AYSO 644, now known as Weston Select and AYSO, and the YMCA soccer programs. Furthermore, over the years, I established the soccer programs at Sagemont School, the middle school, the girls varsity, and boys varsity. Additionally, I established the soccer programs at Weston Christian Academy for boys and girls. Lastly, I established the indoor soccer leagues for college athletes, adult men, and co-ed groups, and coordinated the establishment of outdoor adult men's leagues, which continue to this day. In essence, I've had my imprint on virtually all soccer activities in this great city from the very beginning. Observing the trajectories that the established programs were beginning to take, which were contrary to my very personal vision for youth soccer, I decided to establish my very own specialized club, which held certain priorities and elements which I did not wish to sacrifice under any conditions. Methodology and proper dictated instruction of all elements lay the foundation for what our club has become today. Focusing on the qualitative factors, i.e. true soccer development, over the quantitative ones, i.e. profitability, we began a process which to this day stays true. Comparatively, we are a small club by design, preferring to cater to youths interested in the gradual development and fulfillment of the game, without the undue pressure experienced at all other clubs. The idea that soccer, or for that matter any sport, must be pressure-filled and aligned to success at all costs was never an option. The game had to be thoroughly enjoyed and thus became the premise for our motto, serious soccer made fun. FUTSOC has had local, state, regional, national, and international success at the highest levels of youth soccer, even bringing the city of Weston its only #1 youth soccer national ranking in 2015, which prompted the city mayor and commissioners to issue a proclamation at Weston City Hall in front of hundreds of attendees in our honor. I wish to now introduce my son, Francisco Tamayo, who is our acting director of coaching and an outstanding talent in his own right, having achieved the highest levels of success with our nationally top-ranked FUTSOC club as a nationally acclaimed center back and selected to this country as a national team player and for the Olympic Development Program, ODP. Possessing of high-level coaching certifications from the United States Soccer Federation, U.S. Soccer, and nearly 20 years of coaching at all levels, he directs our very special mission and guidance of soccer coaches within FUTSOC. Thank you for your kind attention to this opening statement, and if you wish to learn more about our organization and our coaches, please visit our website at www.futsoc.club. I now direct your attention to the presentation, which I hope provides you with a most in-depth understanding of our club and answers most of all your curiosities and questions about FUTSOC. FUTSOC, serious soccer made fun.
Hello everyone, this is Francisco Tamayo, Director of Coaching at FUTSOC. I'd like to invite you all to our annual Parent Coaches Meeting Every year we like to sit down with our parents and go over a variety of topics that we like to discuss at FUTSOC, such as methodology, philosophical approach, developmental approach, the state of youth sports, and other topics. So let's get started.
I'm here to announce my retirement from sports. Baseball, basketball, all of them. I feel like it's time. The pressure that it takes to play at my age is just too much. So I'm done with the endless advice from parents to keep my head up, to keep my head down, to keep my head in the game. I know you think you helped. I'm walking away from the coaches that left me on the bench every time the game was on the line. I'll miss my friends and the fun we had when we were young. I said I'd play this game as long as I was having fun. And now, it's time to call it quits. Any questions?
The advertisement you just saw was produced by NBC and broadcasted during the Super Bowl a few years ago. It wanted to address the point of the state of youth sports here in the United States and the phenomena we're having globally as well: child burnout. The Aspen Institute, which is an international nonprofit organization founded in 1949, created the Project Play initiative. This initiative is founded on the principles that all kids should have access to high-quality youth sports experiences. This was conducted by serving communities, parents, children, and coaches alike. As you can see in the chart below, the Project Player initiative outlines all the benefits for youth involved in sports. Categorically, these benefits are physical, mental, social, emotional, and academic. If you look to the chart here to the right, you'll see all the benefits physically active children have, starting from early childhood to adolescence all the way to adulthood. For example, 15% are more likely to go to college, higher self-esteem, lower levels of depression, and so on and so forth. The benefits of being active in sports and active outside socializing are incredible. As you see, there's a whole host of benefits to your kids being physically active in sports. However, there is a growing problem in youth sports internationally and nationally. A survey conducted by Aspen Institute shows an incredible high dropout rate in youth sports today. 70% of children will quit by the age of 11. Some of the main reasons are the following: lack of playing time, overemphasizing of winning, lack of fun, other activities becoming more interesting, coaching inadequacies, parental pressure behaviors, dissatisfaction with performance, and lack of social support. I'll take you briefly through each one topic. Lack of playing time is a common theme. Oftentimes kids participate in clubs that do not think of them in mind. It's all result driven, and sometimes parents don't pick the right clubs to have their children succeed, and that can result in lack of playing time. At the end of the day, your kids want to play the sport and learn. And how do they learn? Besides practice, they play in a game. Parents and coaches alike have an issue also with overemphasizing results and winning. Everyone wants to win, including ourselves. But at the end of the day, we can't blind ourselves to the most important fact that fun is what matters. Results sometimes will be in your favor. Results sometimes won't. There's no control of it. We have to focus on what matters most, and that's lack of fun here highlighted in yellow. You're going to see this as a common theme in our presentation. Fun is probably the cornerstone of FUTSOC's methodology, from 5 years old all the way to 19 to 20 years old. The reason being is without the enjoyment of the sport, there will never be true development, because you have to have passion for what you do. Also, it's very normal for kids to outgrow soccer and other sports and find other sports more interesting. So as parents and coaches, we have to be attentive to that. Also, coaches are not properly licensed or educated to properly teach the children, not only on the psychological level and how to deal with them, but on the sport level as well. Parents also provide a lot of pressure to the children, demanding a lot of young kids. We have to curtail this and really focus on what's best for them. Also, children are often autocritical and really compare themselves to others. and we can't do that. We have to make sure the kids are enjoying themselves and not compare them to anyone else. They're their own unique individual. And lack of social support from, coaches, parents, and children alike. Due to these concerns, we've seen a rise in mental health issues in youth sports as well as pro athletes. Two most notable icons are Michael Phelps in swimming and Naomi Osaka in tennis. These two individuals have been very open with their mental health struggles. Michael Phelps has detailed mainly his depression and anxiety, and even thoughts of suicide through his career. Naomi Osaka had the most interesting take for us though, with her saying, quote, "When I win, I'm not even happy. I'm relieved. And when I lose, I feel very sad, and I don't think that's normal." Think about that for a second. A woman who's been driven her whole life, practiced hard, worked hard with her goals to be a champion and to succeed. And when she wins multiple times, she's not even happy. She's relieved. And it's an urgent matter in youth sports and a cause for concern. So the Aspen Institute conducted a survey answered by children for general solutions, as you hear in the slide. The most interesting takes from the children, of course, are more fun, trying your best, getting more playing time, when coach treats players with respect, and so on. They're having less fun when we focus on winning. They don't care if you play in tournaments as much. They don't care to earn medals, etc. So you see the growing trend of what the main reasoning behind success is for a child. They're not looking at the end game. They're looking at the moment and being present in that moment. So some of these general solutions are focusing on their ability, competency in basic movements and skills and fitness, having a ladder for them to improve, developing their confidence, knowing that they can play the sport and compete with their friends and have a good time and feel adequate. Their desire, promoting their interests for the sport. Without interest, kids are not going to come on the field ready to go. And of course, the most important aspect is fun. And here on the next slide, we'd like you to take a moment to watch Brian Gumbel's Norwegian Way method, which played on HBO. It's an interesting take on a country's approach to the mental health struggle and burnout in children in Norway. Essentially, you're going to see that the whole country has backed a specific model on focusing on the fun and passion of the sport rather than competition and intrinsic value of taking times, etc. They work all together to focus on the most important aspect of fun. Afterwards, you're going to see a very interesting interview with Luis Enrique, ex-coach of Barcelona and Spanish national team coach, and his take on how parents should be involved and coaches should be involved in a young athlete's soccer career.
To see how the typical Norwegian kid gets their start, we visited a youth skiing club in Lillehammer on a typical Tuesday night. It seemed that every child in town was there.
It's cold, it's about 15 degrees, it's 7 o'clock at night. I see, a couple hundred kids out here.
Yeah, this is quite normal.
Per Vangen helps run the program. The coaches here are not expensive professionals, but volunteers, like Dr. Christian Holm.
How would you assess the talent out here? Because I see some kids who look very skilled and others not so much.
I don't like the word talent. I think those are skilled. They have been doing lots of skiing since they were very small. And those who are not so talented, as we see them now, if they do skiing a lot until they are 15, 16, you might not see any difference.
Dr. Holm told us that the kids here do race, but the times and rankings are not kept.
Do you share the times with them, the results?
In Norway, it's not allowed to have lists where we order number one, number two, number three.
You can't rank them?
Not before the age of 12. And that's that's not allowed in Norway for kids.
And the emphasis on fun? Well, that was pretty obvious.
If the fun part is not essential, they will get tired of it. And they will just stop doing it. So we have to have fun. And skiing is fun. It's one of the most fun things you can actually do.
¿Qué recomendarías a un niño de 10 años que quiere ser futbolista profesional y a sus padres? Gracias. Pues mira, lo primero, que ser futbolista profesional no es una cosa que tengas que planificar. Está muy bien decir voy a ser futbolista, pero yo nunca me marqué el objetivo de ser futbolista profesional. Es más, con 17 años, hasta que no me dijo un entrenador, Ismael Fernández, que iba a jugar a fútbol, yo pensaba que iba a llegar a como mucho a tercera. Y lo digo con sinceridad. Y para los padres creo que es muy importante dejar a tu hijo que disfrute, no meterse ni en la tarea del entrenador, ni en agobiar al niño, que si marca goles, que si no marca goles, que disfrute. Solo va a llegar un 1% o menos de todos los niños de España. Si el único objetivo que tiene tu hijo y que tú quieres para tu hijo es que sea feliz, ¿no? Que se desarrolle como persona. Valores dentro de un equipo de fútbol los va a coger. Valores de la vida, aprender a ganar, a perder, la frustración, gestionar las alegrías con tus compañeros, gestionar las tristezas de tus compañeros, ver que no eres el centro del mundo, que el universo no funciona solo pensando en tu ombligo. Muchas cosas muy bonitas. Los padres deben estar, en vez de estar grabando ahí al niño y no sé qué, olvídate de tu hijo, déjalo disfrutar, déjalo que nada, al acabar no hay que preguntarle cómo has quedado, no, ¿qué más da el resultado? ¿Te lo has pasado bien? ¿Has dado todo? ¿Has dado tu máximo esfuerzo? Ya está, hoy sale bien, mañana sale mal. Ese sería un poco el objetivo. Yo lo he llevado a cabo con mis hijos, mi padre lo llevó a cabo conmigo, tuve la suerte y tengo la suerte de tener un padre que siempre valoraba, incluso me acuerdo que me cabreaba muchísimo porque hubo una época con 12, 13 años en el Sporting de Gijón, no jugaba nunca, es decir, nunca, estaba en el banquillo, incluso algún día me sacaron de suplente y me volvieron a cambiar, pues mi padre estaba afuera cuando podía ir a verme y mi padre me decía, has jugado muy bien, y yo lo miraba así y digo, oye papá, que me han cambiado, coño, que he salido suplente y me han cambiado 2 veces. Mi padre siempre positivo, no hagas caso, tú sigue igual. La verdad es que yo era un corcho en esa época porque me gustaba tanto el fútbol que iba a entrenar entrenamientos voluntarios, tal. Jamás mi padre me presionó, ni mi madre, ni me dijeron nunca, pues no juegas o has jugado mal o que cuántos goles marcas, nada. El niño crecerá con la confianza de saber que sus padres le apoyan y si luego tienes la suerte pero luego es una vida diferente, que tu hijo llega a profesionales, pues perfecto. Pero vamos, lo primero que buscamos todos para nuestros hijos es la felicidad. Pues la felicidad está en lo que quiere hacer tu hijo. Y si quiere probar hoy fútbol, y el año que viene básquet, y el año que viene ping-pong, y el año que viene ponerse a bailar, fantástico. Apóyalo como te gustaría que te apoyaran.
What are the more specific solutions, known as the 8 plays? Well, ask the kids what they want. Always be attentive to what their desires are. Reintroduce free play, which you'll see at our practices. Sometimes the best course of development is giving them the free time to play against friends, non-organized. Encourage sports sampling, meaning let your kids experiment with other sports, especially at a young age. If they want to be involved in basketball, let them play basketball. Tennis, play tennis. Let them have a wide variety of curriculum if that's what they choose. Revitalize in-town leagues, meaning let's keep travel to a minimum. The more distance traveled, the more stress caused in the family, the more responsibility, more pressure on the child. Think small. This means essentially think of them today, the now. Be present in this moment. Let's not worry what happens 5, 10, 15 years from now. Let them enjoy where they're at the moment. Design for development. Have clubs dictate values and goals clearly to the parents and to the kids, and let's all have developmental goals for the children. Train all the coaches, make sure all these clubs are focused on coaching education and make sure all their coaches are adequately prepared to provide an outlook and plan for the children. And emphasize prevention, essentially emphasize prevention of quitting and just having fun and keeping them around in sports. Who is FUTSOC? FUTSOC, a portmanteau of 2 words, football in Spanish, soccer in English, was founded in 1999 as a separation of local politics in the South Florida soccer landscape. As you can see here, transitioning through the years, even before FUTSOC was officially formed, our director, Jose Tamayo, had ties early on in Western sports history, helping form the foundational clubs such as YMCA and AYSO, partnering with the local area clubs such as Delray, Strike Force, Team Boca, and others in 1996, right before forming our club in 1999, and which led to be over time one of the most successful South Florida clubs in the country. In 2014, we expanded to multiple locations, Doral, Deerfield, and others, and hopefully upcoming soon Naples. And in 2018, we took our most ambitious efforts since and launched our internationally recognized event, Enigma Cup, which takes place every Memorial Day weekend in our FUTSOC International Residential Academy. Philosophy. The most important aspect of our club, who we are, our DNA. Serious soccer made fun. But I want to be clear on one important aspect of serious soccer made fun. Oftentimes, people disassociate what that word means, fun, and think about kids running in the street with no care in the world, organization. FUTSOC is very meticulous and detail-oriented. We have a long-term projection model and developmental matrix for our club, starting at 5 years old, running all the way to 20 years old. Concepts, and probably the most important concept of all is fun. Running from all those ages. Why? If there is no fun, there is no point in many youth athletes' minds. It becomes homework, it becomes a job. And at the end of the day, even the most competitive players, period, want to develop, want to grow, and want to have fun. Also, true player development. We have a very detailed, meticulous outlay of our long-term projection model, and our goal is to make sure the kids develop appropriately at all ages. More importantly, we also want to impart in our young athletes multiple life lessons. We're not just about developing young soccer players, but developing young men. In academia, one of the most important aspects of our curriculum is that we work with parents to make sure all the kids are focusing on academics and working intertwined with us, because we believe a well-rounded individual will lead to more success in life. Short, medium, and long-term plans at FUTSOC. We're thinking of today, tomorrow, and the future, and if you look at it in the context of a season or multiple seasons, which is the appropriate way, we're looking at the week, the month, and the years. Short-term goals are goals such as physical aspects, game understanding, and improved level of play. These you'll find regular day-to-day level of practices, conditioning, approach, making sure they're in physical condition, game understanding, putting them in situational aspects of attack versus defense depending on the age group, and improved level of play, playing with their teammates, doing individual drills with their team to see how they develop on the field. Medium goals: improved technical proficiency, enhanced tactical awareness, and continued physical development. Here we usually try to focus on 5 to 6 months and so on down the line. Here, technical proficiency meaning a lot of work on the ball mastery comes in time. You don't develop that in one practice or 1 week or 1 month. It takes time. Enhanced tactical awareness. Here, we expect more maturity from the children to understand tactical development and playing with their teammates on the field, when to pressure, when to cross, make certain decisions, and continue physical development, always making sure the kids are in physical shape and capacity to play. Our long-term goals, once they get of age in our competitive age bracketing, quantitative game results, comparative superiority to opponents, and individual success and recognition. Here, this is mainly focused for children 15 to 16 years and up. As they mature, as they understand competition, winning and losing, here we use measurements such as game results to kind of keep in line to see how we improve with certain teams, if we're improving, if the game has improved and stayed in line with another group. It also gives us an insight of how we progress against certain opponents or other new opponents as well. We also see individual successes and recognitions at this age, scouting, individual accolades, scoring titles in high school, sports, etc. Some of the expectations we have at FUTSOC along with our goals. The most important aspect and probably the most common path in all youth sports, but at FUTSOC specifically, is growth, success, and enjoyment. Most of your children will be playing the duration of their high school years, formative years before university. Will be playing, having games, having fun, and then they'll leave sports, at least competitively, and maybe keep it around as they get older as a non-competitive element. The ideal target path for those more competitive athletes that have the talent level to succeed is college placement. Here we start at 16 years and above, as that's when the ages where colleges start recruiting processes. And the most complicated and least attainable path is the professional avenue. Here, you're at a point where not only is your skill have to be very high, but luck plays a lot into gearing up for the professional level of the sport. I wish to emphasize that at FUTSOC, we focus primarily on the most common path. This is where roughly 90 to 95% of the world's youth athletes fit in. The fact is, most children are content with playing, socializing, having fun, and competing. We do focus efforts on college placement as well, but this is very, very unique and depends on a various number of factors. We'll always be upfront and honest, and we'll tell you if the children have the capacity to compete at the college level game because it's overly competitive. We don't profess to have the secrets to developing the college athlete, but we've proven to be very successful in a short history, being a small club sending over 115 players to play collegiately. Also, we've been very fortunate through our developmental model to have sent players to the professional rounds as well, but again, we don't profess to have the secrets, and this is an incredibly difficult pathway and very readily unachievable. Just to provide you all with some insight of how competitive youth sports is in this country, here's some statistics sourced by the NCAA, ESPN, and Wall Street Journal on the odds of becoming a professional athlete. As you can see, it details football, men's basketball, baseball, and soccer. In our case, let's focus on soccer. Note, it's important to understand that this is just focusing on high school, to college, to drafting professionally in the United States. This is not focusing on club soccer here in the United States, which roughly comprises of anywhere from 12 to 13 million youth players, and doesn't also take into account the international sector as well. As you can see here, as we dwindle down from high school, 433,000 roughly, to 25,000 roughly, to 75, the chances of any child succeeding and being drafted to the pros is 1 in 5,768. Mind you, this is being drafted to the pros. This doesn't mean they're starting. This just means they're given an opportunity to be on the team. Now, why do we share this? This is not to curtail any dreams, to scare anyone and saying it's not achievable. But we want to emphasize that at FUTSOC, we like to focus on the now, being present in the moment. The children who have these dreams to become the next Messis, or the Cristianos, are beautiful dreams to have, and they should have them and use them as a source of inspiration and dedication when it comes to practice. But our goal as parents and as coaches is to be carefully fan this flame in a way where we inspire them to keep on performing and enjoying and having fun. Because if we replace this desired result onto them, they're going to feel the pressures immediately, and the worst part is they may quit. Now let's take a moment to look at our staff. Although we do have annex locations in South Florida, we're going to look specifically at our Weston location. Please take a moment to familiarize yourself with the names on screen. Most notably, Executive Director is Jose Tamayo. He oversees all club operations. Myself, Francisco Tamayo, is the Director of Coaching, overseeing all coaching operations at FUTSOC. Our goalkeeper coach is Ronald Garces, ex-Venezuelan national team player. We are introducing FUTSOC alum Daniel Atilano, who will be our strength and conditioning coach specifically for children 16 years and up. We also have our distinguished coaches such as Armando Tamayo, Carlo Tamayo, new first-year coach at FUTSOC, Germán Dominguez, and coach in training, Sebastian Duarte. You'll notice next to the names, the licenses in which each coach has with the United States Soccer Federation and or international federations. We are happy to announce our new partnership with FUTSOC alum Daniel Atilano. Daniel will serve as strength and conditioning coordinator at FUTSOC for U16 all the way to U20 and offer personalized programs for those interested and work on a team-to-team basis. Daniel brings with him a whole host of experience, most notably a bachelor's from sports science of the European University of Madrid, and at the youth level was the captain of our flagship team FUTSOC Enigma from 2009 to 2015, where he amassed a very successful youth soccer career and playing on the world's biggest stages, most notably the Dr. Pepper Dallas Cup based out of Texas. Next up, you'll see a short introduction video Daniel prepared for you all, so you get an idea of what his role will be at FUTSOC.
Hey everyone, I'm Coach Dana Delano. I'm an online coach with a bachelor's degree in exercise and sports science, and I specialize in strength training. I'm also a former player of FUTSOC and former captain of FUTSOC, being part of the club ever since the age of 14 all the way to 20, traveling all over the place, going to the top level tournaments and playing against the best teams in the nation and internationally, just having the best athletic career. I want to thank the coaching staff for this collaboration and allowing me to come speak to you regarding strength and conditioning programs for soccer players. Strength and conditioning is applying science and exercise programming to improve athletic performance on the field by improving skills like strength, speed, power, agility, and most importantly, injury prevention. Because we know as athletes, we are prone to get injured from time to time, and you want to avoid that. You want as much playing time as possible and less time sitting on the bench being injured. So you want to have stronger muscles and you want to have more resilient joints. You also want to focus on the most determining thing when it comes to athletic performance, which is speed. Because we know as coaches, the fastest player always wins. So if you want to be faster, you have to be stronger. And if you want to be stronger, you have to train for that specifically. So if you're an athlete who is looking to improve their game in the field and take their performance to the next level, you can ask the coaches for my contact information. I have an online coaching academy, which I have a training platform and training app to provide online coaching one-on-one. I work with clients all over the place, from the United States to Europe to South America, to help them achieve their fitness and performance goals. So if you're an athlete who is interested in this, you can ask the coaching staff for my information, or you can follow me on social media on Instagram on @Delano_coach, and you can also find the training application on the link in bio. I want to thank you for your time. See you strong.
While every club has a unique approach to development of their children, they also have a unique approach to competition as well. At FUTSOC, our competition structure is as follows. We adhere to a strict no-league play philosophy. This is in current line with our main theme of Serious Soccer Made Fun, and adheres strictly to the themes brought up by the Aspen Institute when they surveyed children in sports. The fact is, burnout is high, oversaturation of the sport is high, and we combat this by not having the children overly commit to games every single weekend, therefore hindering parents in their schedules and kids in their basic schedules as well. At the end of the day, the FUTSOC approaches were developing not just young soccer players, but young men, and balance is key in life and at FUTSOC. How do we tackle this? Our kids play in different avenues. Number one, tournaments is specifically geared towards U11 to U19 players. The kids at this level specifically have maturity and have shown growth and depth to play at a competitive level game of soccer. These tournaments are all in the Tri-County area locally, and at times can go further out to the county depending on age group and experience level. We also offer jamborees and festivals for children U6 to U12. These are great sources of games where kids that are not as experienced will have the chance to play, learn, grow in a less competitive environment. Also for the club, we offer friendlies and scrimmages to promote consistency, learning, and growth. If you notice here, we emphasize playing time. Playing time is a very important aspect at FUTSOC. As you'll see in South Florida sports, a lot of times clubs do not play their children in games. At FUTSOC, if your son is invited to play in an event, they will play at an event. But it's important to note that depending on the event and depending who you play and depending on the level of play, some kids will not play the same amount as other children. The facts are that some players can be proven to be pivotal at a moment. Some players will be brought in at a certain moment. Coaches have to adhere to what's going on in the game. There's certain momentum swings, and those are all decisions taken into the account. But if your son is invited to play, they will play. The following slide here is the U.S. soccer pyramid, just to give you an idea how soccer is structured and organized in the United States. FUTSOC club policies. The following slides will be the most important part of this presentation. The Trilateral Agreement is the most important agreement at FUTSOC. It outlines the responsibilities between player, coach, and parent. And if all responsibilities are met between the player, the coach, and the parent, they equal what we call the triangle of success. This is where the player will succeed in developing and having a great experience at FUTSOC. The player's responsibilities are the following: attitude, commitment, and respect. These are the most basic cornerstone responsibilities for any young child in sports. The coach's responsibilities are preparation, fairness, and commitment. The coach's pledge to the kids and to the parents is that they'll be adequately prepared in practices, they'll be fair to all children, and they'll be committed to your children to develop. The most important part of this trilateral agreement is you, the parents. Remember, at the end of the day, your son answers to their parents, and you have to play as both a supporter of the coach and a supporter of the player. The most important responsibility as you the parent is to support both the children and the coaches, commit to the practices to make sure they're respectful, they're giving their best at practices, they're respecting their teammates and coaches, and arriving on time, so that way practices can go according to plan and there's no delay in performing for the coach. The weather cancellation is just not one of the most important policies of FUTSOC, but one of the most important policies in all of youth sports in South Florida. If you're a native of South Florida, you're very aware that the chances of rain any given day can be anywhere from 0 all the way to 100%. It can rain at any given day. As such, the City of Weston's website always has a way to check field closure statuses. As you see here on the right of the screen, this is what it looks like. They also have a rain outline where you can sign up, and it'll update you via email and or text of different reasons for closing. This can range from drainage issues for closing for repairs, maintenance, and so on. As such, FUTSOC also has a specific no makeup policy along with many other clubs here in South Florida. The fact is there's just too many kids playing sports in South Florida, notably soccer, and we are limited to field usages. Due to permitting conflicts, we can't just pick up and move somewhere and move practices around, and due to coaching schedules as well. So we ask you parents to be very patient. We all want to practice, but the fact is there's an oversaturation of children in sports in South Florida, specifically Weston, and we're limited on what we can do and make up. I want to leave you all with a specific line which is very important. Just because it's sunny doesn't mean the fields are open, and just because it's raining doesn't mean the fields are closed. Essentially, this means if you're specifically living in Weston, at times it may rain over to Cuesta Trace Park and not rain at Regional Park, or vice versa. What does this do? This can cause confusion, and sometimes practices can be canceled on one side of the facility of Weston or on the other side. Some days it might have rained earlier in the morning, but the fields were closed even though it's sunny. The reason being, we have to adhere to safety concerns of the city. Even though it's beautiful outside, these fields can be overly saturated, which can cause damage. The more damage done to the field, the more maintenance done to the field, more closures will happen, and at the end of the day, we want to limit injury as well. So please be patient. Uniform policy. It's important to express that all uniforms are mandatory, specifically for all events. So if your sons are coming to practice, please make sure to wear the appropriate kits. If they're going to games, make sure they're wearing the appropriate kits as well. Event commitment and payments. This is very important too for those that are assisting and participating in competitive level tournaments. We'll be sending out timely notifications of invites, and along with that comes an invoice. At the moment you receive that notice, please confirm via email and make a payment effectively of receipt of that email as fast as possible, so that way we can confirm attendance for all the participants, as we have a deadline to approach when we register for tournaments as well. Please adhere to all deadlines in a timely manner. There is no refunds. Remember, if you're committed, the team has a cost associated to registering a tournament and has to cover those fees. So please think of the teams, the players, and the coaches, and please, when we have a tournament, it is important to focus on that a tournament can run on any given weekend, and rescheduling games can happen due to weathering conflicts or team conflicts or cancellation conflicts. So please save that weekend and be open to those potential changes. So if you're going to commit to a weekend, it's going to be a weekend. Communication. We're very thorough in our avenues of communication to all parents. We have an incredible amount of resources on our website, as you can see here in the slide. You'll learn more about our history, our offerings, some news updates, important dates like for scheduled events and so on, and health and fitness tips as well. We also have our companion Sports Engine mobile app. This app has a multitude of uses, notably for scheduling games and practices, which can be downloaded to your iOS or Android devices, and will be used as a primary contact method. If we send an email out, you'll receive it in the Sports Engine application. If you want to send a text message directly to us, you can through the application chat as well, or directly message us as well. When you download this mobile application, all you have to do is log in with your email and password that you made when you registered your children. We also have a WhatsApp group chat. This is specifically for FUTSOC updates and alerts, and you'll receive general notifications such as practice notices, field closures, club announcements, or any general notification we deem important at FUTSOC. This is a non-chatting group and will only be strictly used for updates. We are incredibly happy to announce that the Enigma Cup has not just become the top Memorial Day tournament in Florida, but has become one of the largest and most prestigious tournaments in all of the United States. Please take a moment to watch the trailer to give you an idea of what the scope of the Enigma Cup has become over the past couple of years.
And Enigma really is about bringing different facets of our society, of our community together. We want this to be not just a soccer event where you come and play and leave. We want it to be something where you come, you enjoy, you eat, you laugh, you play on the sideline. Our invitation is open. We want to bring youth, we want to bring families, we want to bring great soccer. And fuse it all into one super event where people will say, I want to come back next year. We bring World Cup players, national team players. Here we have Luis Perea from Colombia, World Cup player. We have the two players from Inter. We had Ronald Garces from Venezuela. It was about bridging the gap between the future young players looking up to their heroes. We have over 400 teams for this tournament. We don't want to be the biggest, but we do want to be the best. We want to be something that people will always remember, a memory that they will take and say, wow, this is the way a soccer tournament should be run.
Here are some of Enigma Cup successes. We have now achieved a ranking of top 20 in the United States. Most notably recently, we had 462 teams applied to the event, 651 games were played, over 60,000 attendees made their way over to sunny South Florida to play in the Enigma Cup, approximately 2,389 goals were scored, and a staggering $7.7 million economic impact was had on Broward County. FIRA, FUTSOC International Residential Academy. We're also happy to announce that the FUTSOC International Residential Academy will be relaunching in 2024. This program is specifically designed for elite level players globally. It's an international residential program which takes place in periods of 3 to 6 months. Strictly on a professional methodology, we invite coaches globally to come and provide clinics for these players who end up going back to college and or most notably professional realms. We'd like to take a moment to thank all of our wonderful partners at FUTSOC. Over the past 25 years, we've amassed incredible support in the local communities, locally and nationally. And we'd like to thank Grupo Bimbo, our newest member, for joining the FUTSOC family. We thank you all. Why FUTSOC? Well, we firmly believe it is because our goals for our players: enjoyment, Their primary objective is to influence the youth's passion and interest for soccer. Fun is primordial in every aspect of life. Dedication. Our coaching staff are fully committed to providing your children with a safe, balanced, and exciting environment with unyielding dedication to their true development. Education. Our expectation is to nurture their full understanding of soccer concepts on the field as well as rewarding their academic development in school with meaningful reward incentives recognized by the organization. Development. At FUTSOC, development is not just a concept, it is our creed. Proceeding at a general pace for all and a specific pace for others, the success of our program is dictated by the continued growth demonstrated every year. Our system is built on a foundational concept of gradual but true development. And most importantly, life lessons. Imparting the technical, tactical, and physical concepts of the game are of consummate importance, however, no more than the important life lessons achieved in the players' interactions, the adherence to discipline and structure, the commitment to the team concepts, and the acceptance of competitive outcomes which will generate even greater benefits in life, within and outside of the beautiful game. FUTSOC is unique in its approach with an entirely honest and most devoted commitment to your child's present and future. We ultimately aspire to further nurturing children to become invaluable members of society. We wish in effect to become an extension of you all, the parents, in providing them with all the necessary tools to succeed in life. This has always been our creed. This has always been our promise at FUTSOC.